Hello and welcome to Tarot Arts Anjali. Today I'll be doing a pick a card reading on messages you need to hear from your higher self. So we have three piles in front of us. Pile number one with this blue stone, pile number two with this red stone, and finally we have pile number three with this white stone. So take a moment if you have to pause the video or meditate. Whatever helps you pick the pile that you feel the most drawn to. And in today's reading, we'll look at any guidance or messages that come from your higher self or any message that you've been seeking for or a confirmation that you need about something that you're going through. So that's the energy that we'll be looking at today. Once you've picked your pile, go to the timestamp in the description box below, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, and welcome to your reading pile number one. If you chose this blue stone, then this is your reading. We'll come to your angel cards towards the very end, and we'll be starting with your tarot cards. So, today we'll look at what messages or guidance your higher self needs to tell you. Sometimes in our lives, we feel disconnected to our higher selves, or there's an inner knowing and inner wisdom that we already have, but we're not able to connect to it. So, in today's reading, we'll see what these messages might be from you, from your higher self, and what your higher self has been trying to communicate with you. Messages from pile one's higher self. Messages from pile one's higher self. What does pile one need to know? All right, pile number one. So these are your messages from your higher self. So, first of all, I can see that in this particular pile, there might be some hardships that you've experienced, or some form of emotional pain, or stress, or just something that you've experienced in the recent past that has caused you to worry a little bit. Maybe in some area or some aspect of your life, there is something that didn't work out the way you wanted it to, or there's some major disappointment that I see with this Ten of Swords card. And this might be something that has led you to feel upset a bit, feel dejected, and feel as if you've reached rock bottom. This Ten of Swords looks like the rock bottom card. It represents a moment or a time in our lives where we feel that things have reached their worst, or it's almost like a dead end in a way that we just don't see something moving forward. And I feel for pile number one, in some aspect of your life, whether it's relationships or your career at the moment, or for some of you, I feel this has a lot to do with your healing journey. I get this sense that perhaps you feel stuck on some level, or there's energy blockages on some level, or you feel that you've been walking on a path for quite some time, but now you just don't see a way forward, and that has been something that's really causing you a lot of worry at the moment. But the your higher self comes in here with a lot of wisdom and a lot of guidance. In your pile number one, we have three major arcana cards: the lovers, the sun, and the justice. And all three of these coming together in your reading, it tells me that at this moment, if this, like, I want to come back to the Ten of Swords actually, because here we see sort of almost a death happening on some level. There's a complete disconnection, there's a complete disruption of our energies. We feel very depleted at the moment. But as I was saying, with your three major arcana cards, these coming here tell me that on some level you have been seeking for some hope or some guidance from above, or whatever it might be, whatever your beliefs are, whether it's a particular faith or a religion or the universe, spirit guides, angels, whatever this might be for you, you're definitely someone who's looking for signs, looking for some confirmation about guidance or messages that help you keep going forward. And with these three major arcana cards coming into the reading, I can sense that this blessing, this guidance, this external support is definitely available for you. So I actually want to start with the Lover's card in terms of this guidance that's coming for you. So in this card, we have the angel on top, who's almost looking over this entire situation, who's making sure that the best possible outcomes are manifested. And there's a parallel that I see with the Sun card, because here we see both of these cards having this vibrant imagery of the sun at top, and these cards together tell me that, and it's almost poetic in a sense, because with the Ten of Swords we see these dark clouds which are really overpowering. They have taken over our mind at the moment, but on the contrast, what our higher self is telling us, or the path that our higher self is trying to guide us towards, is something that's full of this bright, vibrant sunshine, these renewing energies, fresh energies that are coming your way. So just hold on for a while longer. Make sure that you definitely, the pain that you've experienced, that's very much validated and acknowledged. Your higher self also acknowledges the pain that you've gone through, but at the same time, your higher self is just asking you at the moment to connect a bit deeper within yourself, and also have this hope that your higher self is there looking out for you, trying to manifest the best outcomes in your life. Right now, the two main things that you need to focus on is having a little bit of hope, especially after this dejection, this difficult circumstance that you've just experienced. So, that bit of hope will really help you stay rooted and connected to yourself just a while longer, just for the duration that it takes for energies in your life to turn around. And the second message here is to also give yourself some time to acknowledge the pain that you've experienced, to in a way also let your own self know that definitely the pain that you've gone through is very, it's a very difficult emotional experience, and it has led to exhaustion and on a lot of levels. And that's why we have this Four of Swords, this card coming here to tell us that now maybe it might be the time to rest for a little while, to give yourself a break. And perhaps if meditation, if that's a practice that you follow, then maybe this card is telling you to get in touch with that a little bit, a little in a more deeper sense. But if there's any other activity or anything else that you use in your personal life that helps you to calm down, to connect a bit deeper with yourself, whether it's creative activity like art, dance, photography, or whatever that might be for you, or a particular hobby that really helps you connect with your own higher self, or just connect with yourself on a deeper level. So I'm definitely getting this message that if on any level you feel that you're by yourself, or you're having to deal with a lot of these challenges on your own, then definitely remind yourself that you're not alone in this journey. Remind yourselves that just because things are a bit difficult at the moment does not mean that this is how the energies will continue to be. There's definitely this bright sun right at the horizon. It's just waiting for a while to shine brighter. I can definitely see that when you are caught up in a moment like this where you feel that there's no way forward, there's a dead end that you've reached, and there's these dark, gloomy skies up on your head, and in those moments, it can be very difficult to even remember a time where we felt this brightness of the sun on us. We felt the happiness and the optimism in the brighter moments. So, right now, definitely feel your pain, go through what you're dealing with, process that pain. But while you're in that journey, also remind yourself to look back on the past instances where you have experienced a similar pain, or maybe not at the same intensity, but something similar that you've experienced in the past, and what resources helped you back then to overcome the pain. What did you do back then to remind yourself of the brighter days ahead, and did the situation change after that. So first of all, it's the guidance is just to get in touch with your own resources that you already possess, these resources, strengths, coping mechanisms, or even if it has been reaching for professional help when things get really tough, or whatever this help or support has been for you in the past. Try to remind yourself of how these things have helped in the past, and right now, if there is um and if there's a chance or an opportunity to get that help again, and definitely give yourself this moment of rest, because your higher self right now is really urging you to take things a bit slow. And this doesn't mean, with this card, it might look on the surface that it's about inaction or being completely passive in our lives, but we don't realize that just the act of resting, of taking a pause in itself, can be a very big action in itself. It can lead to so much of our healing, of just this moment of pause that we give ourselves to fully process the experiences that we've had, and it gives us a lot of insight about ways of moving forward. So don't see that as something passive or something that you're not being productive, or you're just taking your time off and not really doing something. Remind yourself that this act of taking a break, taking a pause, is very important in your journey moving forward. And definitely with the sun card here, there's a lot of this, hope, this brighter energies that are right around the corner. And here we see this child on this horse, and maybe the like at the moment, you're not able to see the sun because it's in the background, but it's definitely there. This hope, this ability to push through is inside you. You just need to tap into that a bit, and that's what your higher self is also wanting you to do. And in this card, I really like the imagery of the sunflowers here, because the sunflowers, they, to me, they are a symbol of hope and a lot of um like this, the sunflower, it moves itself, it positions itself so that it's facing the sun. And this doesn't mean that you have to turn a blind eye towards the pain and the suffering that you've experienced, or those cliches of looking at the brighter side. Definitely acknowledge the pain, fully process the difficult emotions and experiences that you've gone through, but your higher self is really urging you at the moment to not forget these brighter skies that are also awaiting you. And another message that your higher self, as I mentioned, the three major arcana cards, the third one being justice in your reading. So, the balancing scales on this card, and just this stern, firm attitude. And it's giving me this sense that maybe this moment, this experience that you've had could be something external, that someone else, like very literally, someone could have stabbed you in the back, or you've experienced hurt, betrayal, rejection, or something, some pain of that sort, where someone that you really trusted, or someone close to you in some one way or another, whether it's knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, unintentionally, has caused you some pain. And after that hurt, after that betrayal, it has become very difficult for you to still keep moving forward, or to even have the faith that you could still encounter people who have your best intentions in mind. So I can definitely, that pain that you've experienced, that has been a very difficult experience to go through, but this justice, after all of this healing, after this period of rest and this new hope coming your way, the justice card with the balancing scales tells me that the situation will eventually balance itself out. Things will, if you've felt wronged in the past, or taken for granted, or just you've experienced this hurt and pain in the past, I see that in the near future, and at least till the next 3 months, based on whenever you might be watching this, there's definitely a shift in your energies taking place. Things will start to seem fair to you once again. For example, talking about the lover's card, so if this pain, this hurt, this betrayal, if it has been in a romantic relationship in the past, or a friendship, or even in a relationship with a family member, whatever that equation might have been, if that's what you've experienced, then the justice card tells me that moving forward, you will get your due respect. You might encounter someone who changes things around, and you this time around you'll be able to fully trust this person, and this person won't do something to betray your trust, like similar to the situation that happened in the past. And another message that I'm getting here is, um, maybe for some of you, if it has been to do with your healing journey, then your higher self is telling you that, just because you've been having this moment of whether it's going back to your previous patterns, or maybe you've been on your healing journey for quite a while now, and right now there is a moment where you've fallen back to your previous patterns, and now you're feeling a bit guilty or ashamed that you're still not able to come out of it, to in come out of it and reach the brighter side. You're still feeling this sense of, why has nothing changed? Why am I back at square one where I was at the beginning of this healing journey? So there your higher self is coming as a reminder to tell you that healing is never a linear journey. It will have its ups and downs, and just because we reach one of these low moments doesn't mean that our entire healing journey so far has been a failure. It just means that we've reached one of those points where we need to remind ourselves to be kind and compassionate to ourselves once again, and this period of rest and pause to connect back with our own energies. And if you're feeling that you've lost your sense of grounding or your sense of rooting, then another message for you is to spend a bit of time in nature. If you feel that you're really um, stuck somewhere, and you feel really restricted or limited, or you feel that you're by yourself, then definitely stepping out in the nature, falling back to your support system, the people who really care for you and provide you with this sense of grounding. So make sure that you're connecting with those people as well. So there sort of has to be a balance in between that period of rest and rejuvenation. And at the same time, this shouldn't turn into something where you completely withdraw or isolate yourself. So also have an ongoing connection your with the people who can give you this sense of grounding moving forward. So in terms of the actual challenge you might have faced, one thing that I said with the lovers, that this could have been a situation directly related to relationships, or for some of you I feel that this could have something to do with your passion. Maybe there's an idea that you had, something related to your career, your growth, and you really put in a lot of effort, and you were expecting certain outcomes, but the situation has not unfolded in that manner, and that has resulted in a lot of these feelings of being totally dejected, heartbroken, and not seeing a way forward. And definitely that's a very difficult experience to be in. But as I said, with these cards that have come up for you, your higher self is really urging you to remind yourself of this bright side and to come back into your power once again. And now that these were your messages in tarot, I'm also going to pull out some additional confirmation, some clarification using this Swiss deck. So, any clarifications, higher self of pile number one? Further clarifications, please, for pile number one. Further clarification for pile number one. Okay, pile number one. So these cards that have come up as clarification for you. So in the first card, the Five of Pentacles, here I can see that for some of you, this point of dejection or this difficulty that you experience, it could be something to do with a financial situation or something in your career, your academic or personal life, where maybe you invested in something but you didn't get the right results, or there's a loss that you have faced, or maybe there's some venture or some idea that completely um sort of it flopped in a way, or it didn't give you the desired outcomes or desired results. So if that's a situation that you're asking about, then this Five of Pentacles is coming as a confirmation sort of that yes, it has been a difficult situation, but in in the traditional imagery of the Rider Waite deck, the Five of Pentacles also has a image similar to the glass paintings in the wall behind. So that glass painting in the church wall, this sort of comes as a symbol and a reassurance that even though the situation might be very difficult, but there is still support around. And I think that's the main reminder your higher self is trying to give you at the moment, that yes, things have been very difficult, but that doesn't mean that you're um that you lose faith in this connection you have with your own higher self, because you right now might not be able to zoom out because the immediate pain is so much. So you might not be able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. But your higher self knows that even this pain, this difficulty is important, is very crucial in your growth and your journey moving forward. So just have a bit of faith in your higher self, and maybe already on some level, in on some level you already have this sense that um whatever happened, this difficult situation, maybe on some levels it was meant to happen, or you know that there are certain things that you were meant to learn from this situation. And that's why I feel that your higher self is just coming as a reassurance for you that these lessons here, this sense of grounding, the challenges that you've overcome, so whatever you've learned from that, the resources and strengths that you've gained from that, your higher self is telling you that you know these already. It's just that the immediate pain is so much that you're not able to look at the bigger picture and to see what you've gained from this experience. And again, your higher self is always there for your best good, so your higher self would never rush you into something. And that's why this central focus of this reading sort of becomes the central card of the Four of Swords, that yes, it has been a very difficult situation, and that's why it's okay to take your time to pause for a bit. But once that period of rest is over, do realize that you have this power to tap into this inner resource that will guide you in your journey moving forward. And with the Empress card here, this sort of, I see this as a complete opposite to the Ten of Swords card, because in the Ten of Swords we see a complete dejection, things have run to the ground and nothing is working out anymore. And on the other hand, the Empress is actually about starting afresh. It's about planting a new seed and then seeing it grow to its fullest potential. This is a card of birthing new ideas, giving rise to new potentials for them to come into being. And the Empress card here gives me a lot of hope that this maybe this thing not working out, whatever that might be in your specific situation, it had to happen and it had to pan out in this way, because there's a lot of lessons that you had to learn, which will make you a much stronger, more resilient, and in a way also a more kinder and compassionate person towards your own self moving forward. So be gentle and be kind to yourself, nurture yourself, give yourself the nurturing energy as you move forward. And finally, here with the page of wands, I also see that your higher self is really urging you to like once this period of rest is over, then your higher self wants you to pick up your belongings again, to pick up your resources again, to pick up almost life where you've left it at the moment. And once that period of rest is over, for you to pick things up again and start moving in your desired direction. And this sort of also is coming as a nudge from your higher self that um, this difficult situation, it shouldn't completely pull you down, that you're not able to recover from it, or you're not able to have faith that just because this one situation didn't work out in your favor, nothing else ever will. And this page of wands is telling me that your higher self is really urging you to take action once again once you've recovered. And that's why the focus on healing is very important at the moment. Really put in your energy and focus into things that can help you heal and grow from this situation. And now I'll finally come to the angel card that you picked, pile number one. So you can pause if you want to take a screenshot of the card and of the affirmation. But here, the card that has come for you is Angel Raphael. And this card says that it's a reminder that you are blessed with health, healing, and abundance. So the aspect of healing, I already mentioned, whether it's healing on an emotional level, something to do with relationships, or some other aspect of your life that hasn't worked out. And the message of abundance relates with the Five of Pentacles, that if financial abundance or financial stability has been something that was snatched away from you, then Archangel Raphael is coming as a reminder that these things will enter your life again. And for those of you who experienced this recent difficulty that you've experienced, if that has to do with a health issue, then again the Four of Swords tells you to go through this period of rest, that your body, your mind, your soul needs to rest at the moment to fully heal itself. And whether it's physical health, mental health, whatever you're experiencing at the moment, and then giving yourself the time to sow your seeds in a different direction, move in a different direction, and finally take charge, take action about where your life goes into from that point onwards. And the Archangel Raphael also helps you with your intuition, your inner vision. So if you feel that on some level maybe you are someone who has been intuitive and you have had a connection with whether it's angels or your higher self, but because of the circumstances in the present moment, you might be feeling that you the you know you, this there might be a gap with your own intuitive abilities. You're not able to find these answers that used to come readily to you. And even with that, I would suggest to take this period of rest really seriously and meditate if you have to, if that's a habit that helps you connect with your own sense of intuition. And you can always call on to Archangel Raphael to guide you with those intuitive abilities. And another aspect is that if you are someone who is into something to do with healing, it could be tarot readings, energy healing of some sort, or some profession that has to do with healing, then with that aspect, or if that's something that you're wanting to step into, Archangel Raphael is sort of the best guide to give you divine energy to start working in that direction. And finally, the color green might be significant for you moving forward, so try to surround yourself with green color. And when you're meditating, try to visualize this green ray of healing around you, so you get this sense of balance once again. And this green light, this green energy that we talk about even in pranic healing, that's a very refreshing energy to heal wounds, whether that's on a physical level or on a mental and spiritual level. So these were the messages for you, pile number one. There's a lot of growth, healing, abundance, and fresh energy awaiting you, and your higher self is always there to protect you, to guide you. So make sure that you're connecting to your higher self whenever you need. So thank you so much for joining in pile number one. Do let me know in the comments below if the reading resonated, or if there's anything that you would like to share. And do like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to stay tuned to more content in the future. So thank you for joining me at Tarot Arts Anjali, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number two. If you chose this red stone, then this is your reading. So we'll first start with tarot and we'll look at any messages that are coming from your higher self. What does your higher self need you to know at the moment? Any guidance, any sign or reassurance that you've been looking for? So these cards here will give us more messages about what your higher self is trying to tell you at the moment. And always remember that in life, in circumstances where you feel alone, where you feel as if you're the one dealing with all your challenges by yourself, that's not really the case, because our higher self, our soul, our connection with the divine, our connection with the universe, it's always present, it's always around us. It's just that periods of difficulty might make us forget that connection, or make us not, aware of the support that's already available to us. So, this is your reading pile number two. So, here I can see I actually want to start with the death card, because obviously that could be an intimidating card to have in a reading, but I want to assure you that it's nothing too scary, and it's actually a lot powerful in this reading. So this death card sort of being here in the center of this reading, it's telling me that on some level there's maybe a change, a very big transformative change that has already happened in your life, which is making you feel very, that you're almost thrown in the center. You're um like, it's a very intimidating situation to land in the middle of this very scary new beginning in your life, and that can feel a lot challenging, and maybe that's why you're looking for this connection with your higher self to guide you, to give you messages, and to just give you this sense of reassurance that you will be able to march forward, to charge forward in this situation. And sort of, the parallel imagery on the six of wand and the death card together, both of them have this almost this similar sense of being on the horse charging forward in a particular direction. So these cards being here next to each other, they're telling me that you were in a period of really following your passions, walking in a certain direction. You have started marching in this direction. You had started taking all these necessary steps to go in a direction that you wanted to, but maybe something or the other in that situation didn't exactly pan out in the way that you had imagined, and right now it has all landed you in a very difficult situation. And for many of you, pile number 2, I feel that there's something, there's maybe a new beginning that you have landed yourselves into. It could be maybe moving to a new country, starting a new course, joining a new job, or maybe taken, like, you took a break for a while and now you've started um, your own career, your own business, or something of that sort. I definitely see a beginning or a shift or a change that has happened in your life, and initially it was a moment of celebration. It was something that made you feel really proud of yourself, because when we are working towards, I'll take this example, and you can obviously cater it to your specific situation, but this example of applying for a university and then finally getting into it, it's, when that process of applying for it takes place, we are so caught up in the immediacy of the entire situation, like everything to do with the application process, the interview, getting all our documents sorted out, and all of that, all of those things that we need to take care of. And when you once you get the acceptance letter and you finally make that decision, you move to that place, you start with this new thing, and that's when it dawns upon you that um you were worried about just the beginning or the initial stage of this change. And right now, once that actual thing that you were trying to manifest, that you were working so hard for, once that has happened, there's this almost, the death, I feel, connects to this extreme depletion of energy that takes place, because earlier we utilized all of our resources, all of our energies just into making it into this university. Or if I can use the same example for relationships, that you were pursuing a person for a really long time, or you had a crush on this person for a really long time, and you were trying to build up the courage to tell them how you feel. And once you did make that move, once you told them how you actually felt, and now you're in, maybe in, you've started dating them, and now it feels as if that initial passion is not there anymore, whether it's to about this relationship, this very important thing that you were pursuing, and you finally got it. And with this, I see this fame, recognition, being applauded for our abilities or what we were trying to achieve. And once that has happened, that leads into a complete 180 of our feelings, of our energy and thoughts, because we put in all our efforts into just getting through, and now that we're in that situation, it feels on a level that this is not what we wanted, or um we start questioning our own decisions. But it the case is not, you know, what your higher self is telling you is that it's not that the current situation is something too bad, or you made it wrong, you made a wrong decision, or you made a mistake. It's just that our energies earlier were focused in a completely different direction, and now that we have received what we have been trying to manifest for so long, we don't really know what exactly to do or what the path moving forward is going to be. So for that, I see the temperance card as a guidance that right now you need this sense of balance to ground you. You know, here we have this, like, one foot in the water and one foot on the ground. So this always gives me a message that we need to be in touch with this water element, that is our emotions, our creative ability, our spiritual side, and our intuition, all of those things. And at the same time, we also have to stay grounded with the practical world, the reality of the situations in front of us. So this is sort of giving me a message that the current situation might seem unappealing on the surface, or it might seem as if things are all going horribly wrong. And that's why you need to first ground yourself to reality and to actually question, what is it that's not working around me, what is it that is working around me. You know, just look at both the pros and cons of the current situation, and also remind yourself of all the efforts that you had put in earlier to reach this place, whether it's, you know, again going back to the example of applying for the masters and then finally being there. And that's why I'm getting this sense that you really, um there's a lot of effort that went into manifesting something, and now that the manifestation has given its results, you're feeling a bit directionless, almost of sorts. You don't know where to step into, and this Nine of Wands definitely helps me connect with that energy of feeling defensive, like all your guards are up at the moment. You're being very cautious, you're being almost like you feel stuck. You have all these different options in front of you. There's, you could pick up either of these wands and put them to a specific use, but just because there's this opportunity, there's so many options around you, you're feeling a sense of not knowing what to do with all of this, not knowing how to make the best of this current situation. And you know, we feel as if having a lot of freedom and a lot of choice is always the best thing. But if you try to reflect on your own energies in the past, there's, you might be able to recall moments where having too many choices actually made things worse. Because sometimes what happens is, um when, you know, when nothing is working out, when we have nothing to do, no option in our favor, that's when it becomes very easy to convince ourselves that, yeah, just externally all of these things are not in place, so I can't do anything to move forward. But sort of a similar thing happens when we have too many choices, or things aren't completely dictated to us exactly, and we have freedom about directing our energy in any direction. That's where this inaction counterintuitively might actually increase, because there's too many options, and there, instead of trying things out, trying different trying different opportunities, different choices, different options, we feel stuck, because it sort of becomes like an either or situation, that either I do everything perfectly or I do nothing at all. So if that is a phase that you're stuck in, so the way that I see these two cards coming together in this particular reading is that you might have, on some level, this perfectionist tendency to only take things forward if you know you will be immediately good at it, otherwise not trying at all. And I can also relate to this aspect about being instantly good at whatever you've been wanting to do. Like just recently started this tarot channel, and now I have this irrational sort of expectation out of myself that the channel will grow insanely in just the first couple of days or weeks or months. And that's not how things happen. Things take their time, it takes time to progress. And if this example is something relatable to you, so you know it this how I can explain this is, I put in a lot of efforts to start this channel. There's a lot that I had to do before reaching the stage of actually uploading my first video. But now that it has actually happened, this feels like things are not turning out in my favor or the way that I expected. And now, um So at this point, the guidance here is, instead of thinking that I'll only post when I've made the most perfect video, or I have the most things will only be in my favor once I have the number of subscribers or views that I need. So I can't stop taking action just because things aren't perfect. And again, like, just the idea of perfection is so flawed in itself, because it's a constant journey of learning and growing. So instead of, so if you too feel stuck on some level, that you just aren't able to take action even though there's so many opportunities in front of you, there your higher self is coming as a message. As you know, the message that your higher self is giving you is to pick up just one thing, set up. Don't go after adding multiple stuff in your to-do list. Don't tell yourself that I'll do this and this and this and this. Just pick up one thing and try doing your best with that. So for example, if you are in a new country, new place, and you have all these different goals, that I'll also do very well academically, I'll also find a part-time job, and I'll also eat healthy and exercise and sleep well, and I'll also make a lot of friends. So that can become very unfair on us as well, because there's so many things that we're wanting to do, and instead of even taking one step forward in either of these directions, we might not be doing anything at all. So your higher self is telling you that it's okay to have these major goals, these big goals in place, but that doesn't mean that you will just stop um taking action unless you're able to do some one thing perfectly. So slow down a little bit, take things one step at a time. And this idea of one step at a time is, I can connect this to the temperance card as well, that your higher self is telling you that take one goal forward, invest in that completely, and then you can always come back to these like row of wants behind you, these different opportunities behind you that you want to then engage in. So these are sort of the messages in the traditional tarot deck. Now I'll also use this deck to pull out three clarification cards, or any additional message that your higher self wants you to know at the moment. Any additional messages? All right, this is actually wonderful for these three cards to come together. So first of all, with the Four of Wands here, I see a moment of celebration. So this can either be, it sort of is coming as a confirmation that this Six of Wands was talking about something that you recently celebrated, something that worked out in your favor, whether that's the example that I gave about some change in your career or professional life, and you put all of your efforts into something, and that gave you the result. So this Four of Wands is a confirmation for that moment of celebration that you had. And maybe for others, if this moment of celebration had to do something with your relationship, that you were trying to pursue someone and then you had a really successful date, but now as things have progressed, it's feeling a bit monotonous, or you're feeling directionless, that where to next. Or maybe in terms of your career or any other aspect of your life, you just moved to a new place, a new phase in your life, and in the beginning there was a lot of energy while these changes were happening, but now you feel this depletion of energy. So these cards coming together, first of all, there your higher self is asking you to remind yourself of this moment of celebration, of how good it felt to actually achieve this thing. And then, this reminder, this your higher self is telling you to get in touch with this reminder, because just reminding ourselves of the fact that um we might take our current success for granted. For example, right now, if things aren't working out in your favor, you might have these irrational beliefs about, or thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I just can't make things work. And that's a faulty view, because you're not able to see the huge effort that it took to be there in the first place. That your reality at the current moment is something that your past self was trying so hard to manifest. So we don't uh, recognize when we have to celebrate our own self and our own effort. So these two cards coming together is telling you to remind yourself of how good it felt when what you were trying to manifest, when this goal of yours was actually achieved, and then also to give yourself some recognition of the efforts that it actually took to get there. And now, if you're feeling as if things are completely, you're feeling directionless, or you're feeling as if it's just energies have halted at the moment, then this King of Swords is coming as a reminder from your higher self that you need to think a bit more logically and practically about the current situation. You need to, like, any confusion that's happening on your thought level, on your mental level, any of these overthinking or irrational beliefs that are taking control over you. The King of Swords comes as a reminder to take charge of your own thoughts, take charge of what this self talk that you've been engaging with. What are these statements that you're telling yourself, and are they coming from a rational place, from a kind place, and from a place that's compassionate towards yourself? Or are these judgments that are not really true? That's just your fears talking to you. So that's coming as a message for you to just remind yourself to not be too harsh on yourself, and look at the situation from a practical lens, that this is a big move, a big decision, a big change that has come into your life. And finally, with the World card, I see that you it might not seem so at the moment, but you've entered a whole new chapter in your life. And when we are in the moment, when we're very zoomed into just the here and now, to just how things are happening at the moment, we're not able to fully process how significant the present moment is, or how significant this whatever it is that you recently celebrated, and you overcome, you achieved, you accomplished, whatever this might be. You might not realize the significance of it at the present moment, but if you, in retrospect, if you look back to this situation, you might later realize that, oh my god, this was actually such a crucial and such a monumental stage of my life. It was almost like a new chapter beginning. So give yourself that reminder of how significant the change has been at the present moment. And the world is also um, coming as a reassurance from your higher self that you have all the resources that you need at the present moment. Everything is working out in your favor. It's just that there have been moments of disappointment, or moments of feeling scared or intimidated, but that doesn't mean that everything else is against you. Or with this card, I actually want to, if you are feeling that the world is there to get you, or you everyone else is judging you, or you feel as if you don't belong, or you've been trying to not put yourself out there out of fears of what someone else might be telling you, this world card is coming as a reminder from your higher self that those beliefs, those thoughts are not true. So for example, if you've just moved to a new place and you've been holding yourself back from reaching out to new people out of the fear that they won't accept you, or you won't feel like you belong there, so this world card tells you that you have all the resources. You're very powerful to actually um, bring your ideas to manifestation. So if you have been thinking of having a certain kind of social group, having certain kinds of connections or relationships with people, but you're holding yourself back from even putting yourself out there, so your higher self here is reminding you that you have all the power within you to turn your manifestations into reality, and to make that happen for yourself. So really tap into that and charge forward. As I said, that there's too many things that you're trying to do, or maybe you're protecting yourself and not putting yourself out there. So take really take charge of this. And I want to end this part of the reading with the Ace of Wands, that take charge of this situation, decide one thing that you want to act on, and truly move forward with that. You have all the resources and all the power to for the best outcomes to happen, and your higher self already knows that your best will already happen. And okay, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. So the self-worth card here, you can pause, take a screenshot if you have to, especially with the affirmation. But this card here says it's about self-worth, and the affirmation here is I am confident and worthwhile. So if this what I was saying here, if issues of self-esteem, self-worth, feeling that you are not good enough, or you're holding yourself back from putting yourself out there because you feel other people might judge you, so this self-worth card is coming as a reminder of how truly worthy you are. And you need to, your higher self really wants you to value your own self at the moment and to become open and friendly. So for those of you who you've really um almost trapped yourself in your own circle, and you're not letting yourself go out there, meet new people, form new connections, because you feel that other people might reject you, or you might feel that as if you don't belong, this message on the self-worth card is telling you that you do belong. You have to just be open and friendly. And um I actually want to read this line from here, as is what it says here, that remind yourself you are likable and lovable. And this tells me that right now you are seeking for this love and acceptance from outside. So why not first give that to yourself? Remind yourself that you are likable, you are lovable. There's a lot of qualities within yourself to be proud of and to celebrate. So the Four of Wands with the celebration, and here to recognize your own good qualities. You need to remind yourself of your good qualities. Remind yourself of maybe in the current situation you're finding yourself with a lack of this social group or support with people who truly love you and accept you. Then in that case, remind yourself of similar connections that you've had in the past and how you felt during those connections. And those connections can be a reminder that you have all the power and the potential to attract those kinds of people in your life. So because it has happened in the past, because you've been lovable in the past, that should be a reminder enough for you that even moving forward you can find similar connections even in this new challenging situation that you might be in. And again, here your angel, ask your angel to step into your aura and guide you. So whether it's your angels that you want to connect with, or even your higher self, just visualize yourself as having this golden aura. And just the color golden in general is going to be beneficial for you moving forward to truly tap into your own worth, your own esteem. And I just want to tell you, pile number 2, that you are so worthy and you are so lovable of, and you will receive all the appreciation, love, acceptance that you're seeking for. It's just that I can understand that this has been a huge shift for you and you feel really guarded at the moment. But just slowly and at your own pace, at what feels comfortable, start lowering your guards, take action, put yourself out there. And I'm really hopeful for you for this new chapter that you've embarked upon. So pile number 2, this is where I'll end your reading. And please let me know in the comments below if the reading resonated, or if there's any other topic you would like me to do a reading on. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel Tarot Arts Anjali if you want similar readings in the future. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. If you chose this white stone, then this is your reading. We'll come to your angel affirmation card towards the end, and we'll start with tarot to get any channel messages from your higher self, any guidance, any messages, or maybe any reassurance or signs that you've been looking for while you're trying to connect with your higher self. And just remember that even in moments that you feel that you're truly alone, you are not alone, because your higher self is always there, protecting you, guiding you towards your best possible outcomes. And even in moments that feel as if things are going entirely wrong, you're not alone, because your higher self is there guiding you in this journey. All right, pile number 3. So, with the tarot cards, I feel that um, it's sort of a very mixed situation, because for some of you, you might feel really blessed and empowered on certain levels, or maybe some aspects of your life feel that they're really working out in your favor, whereas there are certain other aspects of your life which feel really um, chaotic, or feel like you're not really experiencing the best possible outcomes. So, I actually want to start with the two major arcana cards first, the Magician and Judgment. So, the first message that your higher self is giving you is that, irrespective of the actual situation that you're going through, just remind yourself that you have all the possible resources that you need to overcome this difficulty, this challenge, whatever it might be, in whatever aspect of your life. And the Magician, I also see it as the master manifester in the tarot deck. So if there's any specific outcome that you've been trying to manifest in your life, if there's um a certain direction that you started pouring your energies into, but maybe things at the present don't seem as pleasant. So just remember that things might seem, uh, you might feel unfulfilled at the present moment, but that doesn't mean that that's how things are going to stay forever. Things will definitely change, it will shift around. And with the Judgment card, I feel that moving forward, or maybe um you took a decision, or you started following a path because it felt as if you were answering a calling and you were trying to follow your passion, your purpose, your highest good. But maybe on some level it's feeling as if you've been questioning whether this is the right thing, is this what's actually meant for me. And that's why your higher self is maybe trying to reach out to you. It's been trying to give you messages to let you know that yes, you are on the right path, you are in the right direction. It's just that these momentary blockages or challenges are just placed in your path to teach you certain lessons, and these are not something that will be make or that will lead to make or break situations, or will lead to complete failure or the worst possible outcomes. It's just these minor challenges that are sprinkled in your path so that you keep growing, you keep learning, so that you can become your most evolved and your most sort of resilient and your strongest self. So with the starting with the first card as the Five of Wands, here I can see that maybe one of the challenges that you're faced with, pile number 3, is that your energy is being scattered in different directions. You are not able to find a single focus, or maybe you have too many visions, too many ideas, thoughts in mind, and you just don't know how to direct your energies in the best direction forward. So if that is a confusion for you, it's a source of conflict and a lot of chaos for you right now, then the Magician card comes here as a reminder to connect what is practical at the moment. Maybe, out of all of these different options, these different energies, maybe one path forward could be your true purpose, or something that's truly fulfilling for you moving forward. But at the same time, practically in reality, there's something else that has to be achieved in the moment, so that eventually you can turn your true purpose into what you're doing in your everyday life. So unless that practical step is taken care of, you're not able to reach there. And that's why the Magician card here is coming as a guidance to remind you to connect these both of these energies, because the Magician card here has this message of as above so below. So there's two messages here. First, as I mentioned, your the practical action that you have to take, it might not fully align with what you're wanting to do on a deeper level, but that doesn't mean that you ignore these practical steps. And the second message for you that your higher self wants you to know is, right now it might feel as if your actual highest good, this purpose, this soul mission, or something that you're really wanting to manifest for yourself, that might feel very separate or disconnected, or maybe even at conflict with your practical situation or scenario at the moment. But your higher self is trying to remind you that it it's not as if these are completely separate. It might seem like that in the moment, but it'll all connect moving forward. So I'll try to explain this with an example. So maybe and you can always try to apply this in your respective situation in whatever way it resonates. So maybe you are someone who's trying to pursue a career that has to do with your creativity, or you're an artist and you really want to take that passion forward and start making money by following this passion. Or maybe you are in a you have this spiritual side to yourself. You work with energies, healing, or whatever that might be for you, and you really want to take that forward. And in either of these situations, there might be a practical side to things as they are at the moment. Maybe there's an unfulfilling job that you're doing at the moment, or maybe there's whether it's an academic program or some aspect of your life that you feel isn't taking you to your highest self. So, for example, there's a very specific niche career that you want to follow, but right now, what you're learning is too broad, or it's on a very basic level as compared to where you want to be, or where the very specialized thing that you want to do. And right now it might feel like a waste of time, whatever you're doing at the moment, whether it's something practical, whether it's something to do with like some aspect of your life that is fulfilling one need in terms of your financial stability, or getting the accreditation that you're looking for at the moment. And that's why there are these conflicting energies, that on some level that on on a like in terms of your purpose, there's something deeper to you, there's something else that you want to pursue. So, or almost, you know as the this highest want here, like that's for your highest good, but there's all these conflicting energies that are stopping you from taking this forward fully. And there's all these other matters which seem insignificant to you that you are made to address at the moment. So this reading is coming as a message from your higher self that do try to find this balance where you can stay rooted to what's happening at the moment, while also having your bigger goals and dreams in your mind too. So for example, if there's some practical considerations or some tasks that you have to get through, and it might feel insignificant at the moment, or it might feel as if something that's a waste of time for you and it's draining your energies at the moment, but remind yourself of how that could eventually also be something that directly or indirectly in some way supports your higher purpose. So the example that I was giving earlier about maybe this creative passion that you have, or a spiritual journey that you want to turn into your career, and right now you might be in a job that's unfulfilling, or you might be studying something that on the surface seems insignificant. And I'll just take the example of maybe a business degree, and that's feeling very like it's feeling as if that's nothing close to what you eventually want to do. But you might never know that later on you turn your art or your passion into an actual business, and there the current skills that you're learning might help you in the future. Or maybe you're doing something related to math or statistics or something of that sort, and moving forward, even though you're doing something completely different, like you're doing programming, you're making video games, things like that, and you're designing or whatever that might be, but you don't know in some direct or some indirect way the skills that you're learning now can somehow still help you moving forward. So just to say that right now, things that seem insignificant or maybe seem like a waste of time, they're just there to prepare you for all possible skills that you might need in the future. So instead of seeing these things as a waste of time at the present moment, try to pause for a moment and recognize what is it that the current learning is actually serving or fulfilling for me. So with the 5 of cups, if your attention is just focused on these spilled cups or situations or things that didn't work out in your favor, so there's just a tiny shift in perspective that's required, so that you can see the 2 cups that are actually standing behind, that are actually going to be something that you could take forward. So right now, if it feels that your energy is scattered in different directions, and what you, maybe you had a certain plan in mind that within this time period you would devote all your time and energy to a specific project or a specific task, or again, the example for artists, like a specific artistic project or a creative project, or some spiritual practices that you wanted to really devote your time to. But the way that things have turned out, or other practical concerns that have come up, you're not able to devote your time to that, and you're feeling really dejected. But that doesn't mean that there's still no bright side to this situation, because you have these two cups standing. And I feel that, for pile number 3, the major cause of conflict or confusion, so to say, at the moment, is your reality at the current moment feels very disconnected from the ideal that you have in mind about your purpose, about where you see yourself. So you might see yourself in the future in a particular setting, with a particular kind of lifestyle, doing certain things, but what you're doing at the moment is completely opposite, or maybe even um in a way conflicting with this ideal that you have in mind, and that's causing a lot of discomfort for you. But here your higher self is telling you that all of this, each and every single bit of this experience, is laid down in your path, because eventually it will contribute to your higher purpose. And again, the examples that I gave, you can also do a similar reflection for your specific scenario, that what are these tasks, or what are these situations at the present moment where your energy is being diverted, and then try to find these connections, maybe even if it's something that's not too direct, that you can see at the moment, but still try to ask this question, that okay, in what ways can this specific thing that feels like a waste of time at the moment, how can this still contribute in my journey moving forward, or what skills and resources or strengths am I gaining from this? And you might just realize that okay, this thing that I felt was so insignificant is actually helping me in the future. So just remind yourself that sometimes this five of wands moment becomes almost inevitable, or we just can't help but experience this. And that's why I feel the tarot, all these cards, they come as not just one off experiences that happen just to some people. These are universal experiences that everyone goes through on some level or the other. We all come at some point in our lives where we do things that don't make us truly happy, or some aspect of what we're doing is not in touch with what we where we eventually lead ourselves going. And we might feel that there's, because of maybe whether it's the education system, the way that career, jobs and everything happen at the moment, and just needs in general, such as having financial stability and things like that, we all find ourselves in certain situations where we do something unwillingly, or maybe something that doesn't feel the best for us, or doesn't feel too true to us. And that's just a reality that we sometimes have to come to terms with, and then find ways of moving forward. And finally, with the Four of Pentacles, here, I feel that on some level, maybe you might be clinging on too tightly to this idea about how, like, you really want to be in control of your life and the outcomes at the present moment. And definitely we all seek control. No one wants a very unpredictable life, or no one wants things to be too out of control. But if we try to do that, we're not realizing that the path that our higher self is designing for us, the direction that our higher self wants us to take, is going to be full of challenges and full of unpredictable, uncontrollable elements. So if we try to uh, hold on too much to this idea of control, then we might be missing out on these actual opportunities, which at the moment might feel like challenges, but these are truly opportunities to grow and learn and transform ourselves. So just remind yourself that, am I holding on too strongly to a specific idea about what I want to do, or in what direction do I want my life to head into. So, if on some level you feel that, it might happen that after this reflection you find out, what, this split in my energy is actually not working out in my favor and I can't continue with this. And if that's the answer that comes to you, then definitely go forward with that. But if for some of you, after this period of reflection, the answer that comes to you is that I just somehow have to go through this moment of conflict, of these conflicting energies, just because I know that the moment of growth is just around the corner and just after this momentary difficult experience, then on that level you have to let go of this too rigid of a control over wanting your life to go a certain way and just being this again is not like, because your higher self is never there to blame you or to reprimand you for anything, but just as guidance for you. So if on any level you feel that you have been rigid about these ideas, then just remind yourself that it's it's okay to somehow some like in at some point in your life feel this sense of control too strongly. And it's also okay to then let yourself know that you can give up control sometimes. You can have a little bit more faith in your higher self to know that eventually you will find yourself in the right path and the path that is meant for your best good. So I'll pull out some final guidance and clarification from this deck to see if any further messages, clarifications that your higher self wants to provide to you at the moment. We have the magician repeating, so that's definitely a good sign. So we have the King of Cups, the Magician, and the Six of Pentacles. So all these cards coming together, they tell me that once you have endured this difficulty, this challenging situation, and you've kept the practical side of things in mind while also having a vision of your final purpose or direction that you want to head into, that's when a lot of this emotional fulfillment, this satisfaction, the this aspect of satisfaction is going to enter your life. And with the magician being repeated here, it's sort of a double clarification for you that you have all the resources that you need at the moment to turn your life in the right direction. And um, in a way, it's also reminding me that this aspect of conflict and chaos that I was talking about earlier, that maybe on some level you are doing certain things that you feel are not serving you, but that these are also adding to your repertoire of resources, of everything, that all these strengths that you are building that will eventually help you. So just keep that as a reminder. And finally, with the Six of Pentacles here, I get the message to first of all be a bit more it's sort of coming like as a clarification for the Four of Pentacles, because with one message of trying to be too much in control, the Four of Pentacles also tells us that maybe on some level you're holding on to some resource, whether that's money or some other aspect of yourself, you're holding on to that too tightly. And the Six of Pentacles almost comes as a solution to that situation, to give away a bit more freely. So for example, if it's money or financial, in terms of financial situation, you have a fear that things are not turning out in your favor. So instead of turning into this rigid mentality of just not spending at all on things that you need, or maybe giving back to others or things like that. So if that's something that's happening with you, then this Six of Pentacles comes as a reminder that you also have to give in order to receive. So don't hold back on, whether it's wealth, whether it's your affection, whether it's certain joys that you've been denying yourself. So just give yourself freely too, and allow yourself to be a bit more generous towards yourself. And now I'll come to the final message with the angel card that you chose. So, okay, this directly connects with what I was just talking about. This card comes with the message of abundance, and the message here is I deserve love, prosperity, and success. So, this is telling me that if on some level this period of confusion and chaos has led you to hold on too tightly to your resources, or you are starting to feel that you won't find an abundant outcome, then this comes as a very clear guidance to you that you will find this abundance moving forward. That just because this loss or disappointment has happened at the moment doesn't mean that there will be no opportunities to grow in the future. And with this card also talking about love, prosperity, and success, I feel that definitely even in the areas of love, for example, if you're feeling one relationship didn't work out, or maybe in the existing relationship some aspect didn't turn in your favor, or it didn't go in the direction that you wanted, or maybe there's a lot of chaotic energy happening at the moment, there's a clash of interest that is taking place in your relationship, and that's what's made you hold back in terms of not giving affection too freely. So this card comes as a message that once you give your affection freely, once you're generous with what you're giving, that's when you'll also receive that affection back many many times. So be sure you're being generous with your own love. And finally, in terms of your success and prosperity, this tells me that your higher self really wants you to remember that this prosperity and success is in your way. And just because there are conflicting energies at the moment, just because there's different practical side of things that are calling your attention at the moment, doesn't mean that universe is denying you your highest good. Or it's not, the universe or your higher self is not someone cruel who's taking things away from your life unnecessarily or just to cause you some pain, but rather for you to experience this learning so that you're fully prepared to manifest this highest good in its best possible version of it. So be kinder to yourself and also have a bit more faith towards your higher self. And this card also tells that, this card says that the angel wisdom is reminding you now to believe in yourself and trust that you deserve more. Then you will attract abundance and true riches of life. So first remind yourself that you can't just hold on too tightly and then expect to receive. You have to give to receive. That flow has to continue. At the same time, also remind yourself of your own, you do deserve this abundance to come your way. So if there's on any level this period of um this defeat has made you feel as if you just don't deserve abundance moving forward, and if that's the thought that you're putting out in the universe, then that same cycle will continue. Instead, you have to remind yourself that you are deserving of abundance. You have to put those thoughts out there, and that's what you will receive in return. And finally, enhance your prosperity by receiving graciously, giving out willingly, and saying thank you for everything. So, one thing that I feel you might benefit from is gratitude journaling. So, if that's a habit that you already do, then make sure that you continue that. And if you don't, then it's a very simple thing of at the end of the day, try to write down three good things that happened in the day, or three things that you are grateful for that you want to say thank you to. And maybe even to the people in your life, to the opportunities in your life, be grateful to them, be thankful for them. So for those of you who feel that your actual path, your purpose is somewhere else, but now you've landed in a situation where your energies are being diverted in different directions, so instead of blaming this situation too much and thinking that, like just cursing this situation, whether that's a person, a company that you're part of, a school or a college, or whatever that might be, that practical thing that's taking your energy away, instead of cursing that too much, just show gratitude to that situation in itself. Thank that situation for teaching you certain lessons, or whatever good that you might be getting out of it. So instead of cursing, for example, a job that you're taking all my time and my energy and my resources, and I'm drained and not left with time to focus on my true passions, turn that attitude around and um, show gratitude towards what this job is giving you. It's giving you a structure to your time at the moment. You know what exactly to do and what outcomes to generate and things like that. Maybe there's financial safety and security that you're getting out of it. And maybe it's not this cursing of the current situation that will get you out of it, but your gratitude, that once you show gratitude to it, then you things will start clearing itself so that you reach what's actually meant for you, what's actually for your highest good. And again, with this, it also says that when you give freely, when you give graciously, that's when more will come to you. So make sure you are also regularly giving back, whether it's in like literal terms, in terms of this six of pentacles, that actually giving out money to charity, to something like that, or it doesn't even always have to be like that. It can be simply something such as devoting your giving a bit of your time, your energy to a cause that you find is serving you best. So maybe one goal that you have for yourself is to help others, and you see that as something that you can do by offering certain services or whatever that might be, but your current situation is not allowing you to do that. So how can you create this balance where the situation or this practical circumstance stays as is, but you're finding other avenues of helping other people? So whether it's volunteering your time at an organization or something of that sort. So right now the main messages your higher self is giving you is, first of all, your what is for your highest good, your highest calling, your highest purpose. It's not that the universe or your higher self is denying you that. It's just that the current challenges are placed in your path because there's certain lessons that these things will teach you. And if there's conflict, chaos, confusion that you're experiencing on certain aspects, then again, these are not obstacles that are placed in your path so that you just don't move forward. Rather, even these are teaching you certain resources that will help you in the best way moving forward. You have all the resources guaranteed by the magician cards appearing twice for your reading. And don't hold on too tightly to your resources. Give graciously both the actual card that you chose and the clarification card that came, both talking about generosity, abundance, tells me that maybe you are holding on too tightly and now it's time to be in more of a giving energy rather than just waiting for to receive things. And finally, this emotional fulfillment aspect is entering your life soon, and your higher self wants to again remind you that it is always there to help you through any challenge. So at any point you feel alone or dejected, make sure to connect back with your higher self once again. And that is where I'll end the reading for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. And do let me know in the comments below if the reading resonated or if there's any other topic that you would like me to do a reading on. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel, Tarot Arts Anjali, to stay tuned for more. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next reading.